Welcome back, folks, out here at the mill. I'm going to take some time today to show you how I changed the blade on my Woodland Mills HM130. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, if you put this off and you wait to change the blade, inevitably it's either going to break or fly off on you, or it's going to make some pretty rotten looking lumber. So we're going to change it right now because, as you can see behind me, I've got a heck of a pile ready to go for that tiny house build. I got to build some studs or cut some studs. So follow me, we'll go ahead and we'll get it changed out. Alright guys, so first thing I like to do when I start to change a blade out is I raise it all the way up. So I got it raised up quite a ways. Next thing, I'll make sure the tension's off the blade. So I'm going to loosen it right off. Then we'll dive in here. And those tinging sounds you hear right now is up on the metal roof here, the rain hitting it. Okay. So, as you can see, this was used not very long ago, so it's still full of sawdust, but once the tension's off, you can just go ahead and remove the blade, and just keep in mind, it's sharp still, even though it's dull, you know, dull enough to cut wood, it's sharp enough to cut you. So, just take your time taking this off. It's actually, you hear that sound there? It sounded like glue. That was, I was cutting some balsam fir, and that's the sound of the, I guess the pitch sort of sticking the blade to the wheel. So this is my, my used blade. I'm just gonna set it out of the way for now. Okay. These are my new ones, but before I go ahead and put the new one on, I like to go ahead and I just get off any loose material on each wheel. So mostly dust right now. So I do that before I sweep that out because inevitably it's going to add to it. And we'll sweep this right out. It's caked right on there good after a while of use. And this is also a good opportunity to check your tension. Now I can't remember the specific spec. 1/4 inch if I remember right, but whatever it is, just check to make sure your belt's in good spec. Okay, make sure nothing's in here. I also check the top side of the belt for any type of cuts or any signs of wear. Feels pretty good. I go around the full length of the belt to make sure there's no dust that's remaining on it, so that new dust doesn't get introduced right directly onto the new blade I'm about to put on. So that feels pretty good right there. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get my new blade on here, and you're probably saying, what the heck, that doesn't look new. Well, it is brand new, but what happens, it's been sitting out here in the elements, so it's got a bit of surface rust. So good enough anyways. And I just bend it just sort of like this, fit it in one side, fit it into the guides, and then once it looks like it's good, work on the other side. And these are one of those moments, do as I say, not as I do. Wear some work gloves. One reason I don't have them on right now, actually, I think I forgot them. Okay, so that's on. The next thing I do is I get it roughly into position. So when you take your hand and you place it along the back of this cast iron wheel, you should be able to run down the back of the wheel and you should touch the back of the blade. So it should be flush, right about there. So I stick to about this position, make sure it looks good there. Come over here, do the same, run my hand down the back of the cast iron wheel. Once it's flush and once it just touches that blade on the back side, then I know the blade is approximately where it should be, right? And obviously doesn't hurt to have a look at the top, make sure it's lined up. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm about to put a bit of tension on the blade. So put a little bit of tension on the blade, and then I'll go back and I'll check one more time. And sometimes you might have to loosen it a bit so you can still slide the blade with your fingers. And as I mentioned, as I run my hand across the back of the wheel, it's going to go down the back of the wheel and just touch the back of the blade, so that's flush. Okay, and that feels pretty close. Okay, I'm going to loosen it off just a touch more so I can slide it over here. Okay, perfect. And when I'm pushing, I'm not putting my thumb on the tooth, obviously. I'm pushing on the back side of the tooth. Okay, and as I mentioned, wear work gloves. Okay, once it's roughly in position, you can take your torque wrench, as it says here, 25 foot-pounds. So I've already got it set to 25 foot-pounds, so I'm just going to listen. Oh. Okay, 25. Now, some people would just shut these doors, fire it up, and think, oh great, it's going to work. However, I've learned that by doing so, you're going to damage some blades because inevitably the wheels won't be perfectly aligned like they were for the last blade. You have to typically readjust this wheel for every new blade you put on. So what I do is I stand on this side of the door and I'm going to make a few revolutions with this wheel. What I'm going to do after I make, oh, maybe one revolution there, I made one full revolution, is I'm going to take my hand, run it along the back of the wheel. And you know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing the blade has actually moved towards the back. So it's pushed backwards. So that tells me this wheel is not in perfect alignment with that wheel. Therefore, I'm going to need some adjustment. If I were to have fired that up, turned the blade on, what would have happened? This would have flown off. I would have probably ruined the blade. That's why I do this with the engine off, just as a check to get a rough, more or less a rough idea whether it's going to work. Another reason I stand on this side of this door, if this does fly off, right, it's under tension. If this does fly off, it's going to hit the door, not my chest or belly or whatever. Okay, so in order to make the adjustments, I'm going to loosen it one full turn of this tension handle, I guess you call it. I can adjust this screw, and this screw will adjust the orientation of this wheel to that one. So it'll basically change it from being like this to this or to this. So basically change its alignment with that wheel. And that will eventually allow me to get the blade back on track so that as I make revolutions, this blade doesn't want to move back or forward. It wants to stay true in the center of that wheel. All right, so I put some marks right on here because I was sick of going back to the manual time and time again. What I wrote down was clockwise moves rearward. So if I turn the screw clockwise, it's going to move that blade rearward. I want to move it forward a little bit. So instead of going clockwise, I'm going to turn that counterclockwise. Just going to slide this out of the way here. So there's the lock nut. Break the lock nut loose, and as I mentioned, counterclockwise, so this direction. I'm going to start with a quarter turn, give or take. There's a quarter turn, and I tighten up my lock nut again, and then bring it back to full torque. And actually, before I bring it back to full torque, what I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen it off, realign my blade so it's flush on the back, and now I'm going to retorque. Okay, then I'm going to repeat. So things are flush. This way I know what the starting point is, and I'm going to rotate at least a full revolution again. And I'm noticing it's still wanting to drift towards the back. The blade is still wanting to drift towards the back. So that tells me I'm going to have to turn that screw counterclockwise a bit more. So I do one full revolution of this handle, Break loose the lock nut. Counterclockwise, I'm going to go another quarter. Tighten it back up. And this time around, the blade is still pretty well centered on the wheel. It's just off a little bit, so instead of loosening this all the way off, repositioning the blade and then torquing it, I'm just going to go right to torquing it. Okay, another revolution, and I'm watching the blade right now, so I watch this. The reason I watch that carefully and I turn this slowly is, as that blade moves, I want to be able to stop before it goes too far back and jumps off, or alternatively too far forward and jumps off. Okay, and now I'm noticing it is definitely not moving backwards. If anything, it's a little bit forward. So as you can tell, there's a bit of finicky work here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjust it, hopefully just this last time. I'm going to go clockwise this time to move it backwards just a little bit. So I'm going to go a little less than a quarter this time. And hopefully that does it. And you read on the internet people complaining about this, you know, being difficult. Once you get down to system, it's almost second nature. Okay. And that feels very, very close to flush. And so I'm going to come over here and check this one. This one is perfectly flush. So because I think I've now got it, I can go ahead and I can turn it a few times, watching the blade, making sure it's tracking true. Okay, and where I'm putting my hand, I put it right about here, and I put it right about there to feel flushness. Okay. Last check. And that feels perfectly flush. So that does it, guys. This blade is ready to rock, with the exception of putting that back down and tightening it up. This blade's ready to go. And one last safety precaution for you guys, aside from wearing gloves, is pull the distributor cap off the engine. Now, I didn't do this because the likelihood of this engine being jump started by turning this blade is quite slim. There is that possibility. So all that disclaimer stuff, do this at your own risk. Wear some gloves, safety glasses, the whole bit. Pull that distributor cap, which is right here. Pull it right off the spark plug, and that way it's another safety element. So hopefully that helped, guys. I find this very straightforward. If you guys have any questions at all, please put it down below. Once again, this is my Woodland Mills HM130. Appreciate you guys watching. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you all next time.